Okay, so it's been quite a while to be honest, and loads of things have happened. Lots of good things, lots of not so good things, but everything is always positive depending on how you look at it. So today it's Saturday 25th of April 2026. It's currently 10:40 p.m. in Dubai. And there's so much to talk about. I haven't done an update video in at least a few months now. And yeah, we're gonna go through the update now. And to summarize it, the last year, 2025, when I was doing more of the videos itself, ended really well. It went extremely well. December itself was one of my highest months in terms of cash collected and profit. So I was feeling on top of the moon. I focused on hiring, on niching down, and doing certain things to keep growing the business and making it more scalable. Also closed one of my first MRR deals of about 2.5k a month total. But that's about it when it comes to externally positive things in the business. And I mean externally because obviously any failure is a learning lesson at any point. But I made a few mistakes, especially after the war that came here in Dubai, in the Middle East. The first thing is that I sort of got cocky in the sense that, okay, I'm making money, I'm making sales, let me just focus more on hiring. I've made that mistake so many times. It's the rock I keep stepping on. I keep stumbling on that one rock. I am doing really well in the business, and I'm like, I need to focus on finding people to do the work for me, and then the business stops doing well. Which is horrible, but it's what it is. And I just realized that if the business is going well, my focus is on making it go better. Hiring people is a second priority. It's still important, but I need to get into my mind that any problem I have in the business, I can solve with money. If a client is not getting results because the people who are giving the service are shit, having to train the people is going to take me at least a month or so. But if I had the money to just go and hire better people, to just do a better job, the problem just solves by itself. I don't need to do much more if the better people are just doing the work and delivering the client. As in, spending money is more of a solution because, yeah, making more money is more of a solution than any other thing in the business. So that really comes from an internal kind of scarcity mindset, being scared of losing money, and this scarcity / perfectionism mindset. It's more so that I'm more focused on not losing money than earning more money, which is never really the best option. So that's one of the biggest lessons I've taken, which is I need to always be focused on making money, not avoiding losing money, because one makes you money, the other one is just playing defensive. And playing defensive is something I do out of like this anxiety feeling of saying it's easier to focus on saving the money rather than focusing on making the money, right? Imagine you're trying to lift some weights, and instead of lifting the weights, you start polishing the weights. You start cleaning them so they look nicer when you do the weights, and you're more motivated to go into weights. Yeah, but not doing the weights is not giving you gains. Doing the weights, even if they're dirty, is giving you the gains. So that's how I need to think about it. This also led me to lose that MRR deal, and due to some external influences, but also internal, to be honest. I was looking at the profit margin of that deal, and I was like, this is low, and I'm dedicating loads of hours. I wasn't in a position to actually take that decision. This was a selfish decision with myself. I was acting too cocky in the sense that, yes, the profit margin is kind of bad. Long term would have been fine. But since I trusted too much that the outcome was going to be positive, even though I wasn't focusing on what was going to bring the outcome, because trust is one thing. You can do trust if you have the actions to back that up. Like if you take actions every single day to reach a certain goal, you can trust yourself in that you will reach that goal at some point. If the actions are giving any results, marginal or not. But if you're not taking any actions and you trust yourself that that is just going to come, then you're now into the feminine manifestation kind of thing, and that doesn't work. Quite simply put it. So I sort of trusted, with air quotes, that the money was just going to come out of different things, and it didn't. And if I had that MRR, things would have looked very different, because it was a high ticket deal. It was 2.5k a month, the highest MRR deal I've ever closed, and I just lost it because I was cocky, which is fucked up. But hey, you win some, you lose some. Now, that's one thing. The other thing is I niched down, and this is something I basically did because everyone kept telling me that I wasn't gonna scale at any point if I didn't niche down. And I proved to myself that this wasn't true, because I scaled to about $22,000 in December 2025, and I didn't have any niche. I was just doing work for people, solving problems I could solve, and delegating those to employees who just were able to solve problems, because we run an AI automation agency, so we can basically do almost anything. And the people who work with my employees, who I trained, can solve basically any problem. As long as you give them the correct context and information to solve the problem, they can go look up how to solve a problem on API, how to use it, how to connect to anything, how to do some software if we need to like code anything with Cloud Code or Cursor, anything like that. They can actually just go ahead and figure it out. The fact that it's one niche or another, yes, when you're trying to scale, it's a challenge. But the bigger challenge is saying, I have this acquisition channel, which was making general ads for any niche, and it was working well. I was bringing in qualified leads. Not all of them were closing, but some did, and the return on ad spend was about 20 to 40x. That's insane. However you want to look at it, that is insane. But I said, no, let me just go in and change the niche to the one I did close from that ad campaign. I said I closed one client from this ad campaign, so the sample size was extremely small, and I'm gonna just go all in into offering this service for this niche, assuming this is a problem I can solve for everyone, and that they're gonna come flying to my service, and I'm gonna price it more expensive. So this is kind of the application of general advice that should be applied with specific data and nuance, and I didn't do that. I heard everyone say, hey, you need to niche down, you need to up your price, you need to go in and attack the problems that the client has, and all of this. Yet, you also need data. And if you are currently in a niche, which is no niche, going at everyone, jumping on the first thing that looks good is not always the best option. You can pivot a little bit, but like jumping the boat and saying, okay, this boat just seemed slightly better than what I'm currently doing. Let me just jump there and like forgo of all the other things. Luckily, didn't completely forgo, because I would have been fucking devastated if that was the case. But I basically stopped trying to get clients in general that weren't in that niche. I was just focusing all of my energy into that specific one, which was a huge mistake. Because if I just continued doing the thing I was doing, maybe I wouldn't have gotten over 20k a month. But I would have been between 15, 20, 25. And on the side, I could be growing sort of that niche and testing it out. Being a separate campaign just to test out the leads, see if there's interest, see if there's any kind of like movement with that. But instead, trying to fix my perfectionism, I took the wrong decision. Because you can be a perfectionist and take too long to take any decision and think too much about things. And you can be the opposite and just jump at the gun and go ahead. You can't be either. If you really want to grow the business, you need to understand that you need to take the right decisions based on data, based on what you have available in terms of information. But you also can't just be rash and say, let's just fucking go with this. If what you're doing is working, like, I have to be more thoughtful with those things. Doesn't mean I have to take weeks to take the decision if I'm going to study this niche or not. It means, okay, this niche seems to be interesting, let me just test it by the side, but I keep growing the main thing. The main thing keeps growing, And the other thing that pushed me to grow that to change the niche into something specific for that deal I closed in December, that was huge. About $5,000. Well, it isn't too huge, but it's fine. Was that I kept hearing that you need to kind of have a specific niche to be able to scale to 50 or 100k a month. That isn't specifically true, because when I see people in like communities and like just the internet in general, the people in AI automation I see, even freelancers who scale to 80 to 100k a month, most of them are still doing custom work. Most of them are just AI automation agencies, as in they design systems specifically bespoke for each client, and they don't have a problem with that. I mean, yes, some clients end up being very similar and that makes the work easier, but they don't have a problem with getting clients from any niche. And I was kind of taking the advice of maybe a marketing agency, and yeah, in that case, the messaging, if it's specific, if you're gonna grow clinics, if you're gonna grow dealerships, anything like this, that messaging being specific might be useful. But when you're trying to just solve a business problem with automation in general, and the client doesn't really bother about thinking of competition, of if that's the thing, they come to you with a problem saying, I want to automate, can you guys do it? When they come with this problem, which is the case when you do a campaign, just talking generally about solving problems with automation, there's no need for you to solve specific problems only for that niche of client. There's no need for that. And I could easily scale to 50 to 100k a month. Maybe not in MRR, but in cash collected months by doing no niche. So my focus now is quit the bullshit. I'm just going to make money. I'm just going to go to any niche and make money. If I notice a pattern saying, hey, I closed 3 clinics of this type this month, and they all seem to have the same problems, and they all seem to have kind of the same needs, I can launch a campaign on the side, not as the main thing, like a simple landing page, or not even a landing page, lead form, just a specific ad for them, talk to them specifically, see if there's interest, and then go ahead from that. If I don't close any there, okay, halas, there's no need to keep pushing it, but I can keep growing, basically, in that direction. Okay, I got scared it wasn't filming for a second. So yeah, just going to go back to general niche, and that's the kind of the main learning lesson. Because I blew at least 20,000 euros, sort of going deep into that niche without really knowing if it was worth it. And when I say 20,000 euros, obviously, it's not like I said 20,000 in ad spend. That would have been fucking outrageous. But I did spend about 4,000 or so euros in ad spend. I think 4 to 3,000, and then that combined with wages and just costs to run the company, well, it turns out to be quite fucking expensive. So yeah, about 20,000 I think, all in all, which is fucking stupid. Such a huge mistake, honestly. Just a complete blunder if it was a chess match, which it is, against yourself every single day. So that's kind of the main thing in terms of the business wise. But when the war came, which was kind of the reason why this investment didn't really pan out into the niche I was going for, because it got affected by all so much. But I still think it was a mistake to leverage myself so much on one specific niche before it having proven itself to consistently give an income. Yes, the war did affect it because it was dealerships, and dealerships depend on oil to sell, because If people start seeing the oil price to go up, they probably buy less cars, the company contracts a little bit, goes down a little bit, and they have less sales, which means they have less money to spend on services. But that's all good. That's all fine. Things like that can happen, but they shouldn't affect me because I chose one niche specifically and I leverage myself only in that one thing. It's putting the eggs all in one basket. It's wrong. So that was kind of the main thing that led to everything going bad, but I could have still taken a better decision and not gotten into that situation. I am grateful I made the mistake, honestly, because after analysing it and thinking about it so deeply and about all the things relating to it, I saw the massive mistake in how I was thinking. Just so many mistakes in my rationale, in the systems I had, in how I thought about things, in how I was organising my life, my relationships. And I break it down into kind of 3 specific areas, I think. Yeah, systems, business, and relationship. The business one we've already talked about. So all of the things we've talked about. The systems one is my personal systems to grow as a human being and to execute. The main thing there is that I have a tendency to, or I've been having a tendency to focus on the things that are easier. As in polishing the weights, not lifting the weights, just because. Even though I know that if I just go lift the weights, it's going to feel fine afterwards and I'm going to feel even good in the process of doing so. That mental training is required. I need to train my mind to take that action because I know I can. It more so than training is getting accustomed to doing it. Being able to break off and out of that sort of state of mind where you're thinking to yourself that you can't do this, but you actually can. And this translates to in business. If I choose to, if I have 6 hours of work, do I go scroll? Do I go try to perfect a logo or an ad? Do I go try to improve a system by like 5%? Do I go do any of that? Do I just make ads, make content, talk to leads, follow up, call, have sales calls? Well, I really do this. The other thinking of fuck itself. Like I'll pay people to overthink for me, but I'm not supposed to be the one overthinking in my business. I'm supposed to be the one taking decisions that will grow the business based on the current information. And if I have to overthink a decision or overthink a system to improve it, I'm supposed to have team members to do that, because they're supposed to have that ability to just overthink too much to the point that you get a system you would have not gotten otherwise, like in automation. But I can't apply that to a business, because even if I think I'll get some great outcome from thinking twice about it and so many times about any business decision, in reality, thinking more about it gives you no more new data. And new data is the actual thing that will differentiate if you take a good decision or not. If you don't have the data to take the decision, you're thinking more about it, can improve the outcome, but maybe a few percentage points. But what takes it from 30% a good decision to 100% a good decision is knowing. But if you don't know, you're just guessing. You're trying to improve an outcome, but you're not trying to get the good outcome. So that's one of the things. Third thing, so you've got business, systems, and relationships. I was with someone basically, and I'll speak more so about, because I don't want to go into personal things, as in talk badly about this person or talk just badly or disrespect this person. But I need to realize certain things about relationships. The first one is that if I adopt a relationship and within adopting this relationship, I change the things that made me successful, I am first going to become less attractive to the person. That's basically clear, because they fell in love with a person who was successful, who was achieving these things. The second thing is I'm going to become less successful, which is going to make me feel worse about myself and not be able to give the sort of quality of life that I normally have. And then in choosing the person, that cannot be a rash decision. Just because I am lonely or because I desire a female connection doesn't mean I can just jump at the gun and find someone directly just because they were interested in entrepreneurship and certain things, and brush over specific character flaws or things that haven't matured, or like existing traumas that haven't been dealt with. I can't just do the fixer-upper and say, okay, this person has certain issues, everyone has issues, let's just go with that, it's fine. But in reality, I'm not in any rush to be in a relationship, I'm not in any rush to be with anyone, realistically. So taking that decision rash and getting into a relationship that lasts for a year or so is a huge mistake. Not only because of the money and time I spent, but because it wasn't right from the beginning. Because if I just stopped and thought for a moment, hey, is this person really fit for what I need? No. They've got certain issues. There can be issues to me, maybe not to them, but they've got certain things I consider issues, certain character flaws. And if I had a variety of options to choose from, of like decent options to choose from, this wouldn't be a high option based on character. And this kind of led to, at sort of the lowest point I had within my career in the business from when I began, which was a month or so into the war, month and a half into the war. I didn't have the support structure from the relationship to keep going and to keep going forwards. I had kind of the opposite. It was more unstable, my life was worse, emotionally I had no support, so that means instead of being able to end that really tough day of work and be with that person, with anyone else, I would be in silence. Because if they gave you no peace, then there's no support, there's nothing there. And even then, throughout all of this, if the communication isn't good, and the communication is something hard, because communicating a need clearly is not easy, and people say it's easy, but it's not. Especially for women, it's not as easy as say I want this. It's more they say I want this, or I care about this, or what about this? But in reality, this just relates to some deeper feeling they have, and being able to tell that apart is a necessary skill that you have to have, but also they have to have to be able to express it, because if not, it's just not going to work. And when things get tested and the durability of your relationship gets tested, it will fail if that communication is not good, because just resentment and all the feelings will open up more with the stress of the current situation. So it got tested and it failed. My business got tested and it failed. My systems got tested and it failed. But it failed the test. It didn't fail at all. Failure it's if you decide it's done. That's it. Like there's no more tests. You can't keep growing. But it can. My business can keep growing. My systems can keep growing. My relationships, even that one is over, they can keep growing. And I can keep understanding and learning new things to improve generally in all of these areas. And now that all of that is over, I still think I have a good life. I still sort of see myself in the sense that my life is good. I am positive about my current situation because I know I will exit this situation shortly. I am taking the actions, and I understand the things I need to do differently to achieve these actions, to achieve these outcomes I'm looking for. And I have no distractions to do so. Before I could have the excuses of saying, hey, I had to go out and go on a date or do certain things, but now there's no such a thing. Now there's only me and the goal. So that's the only thing that can give me satisfaction at this point. Reaching the goal. Being obsessed so much about it that really there's no other distraction. Yes, I am training to be healthier. Nice views over here. I am training to be more physically fit, to look better, to be stronger, to do all of these things. But the main thing is the goal. All of these other things, like being strong and doing cardio, they just aid the main goal of being like a physically fit and mentally and physically fit person able to run the business at the top performance possible, which just all comes down the goal, reaching the outcome, getting the money, making the sales, and like helping people out with their businesses using AI. That's really where it's at right now. That's the only thing in my life that I have going for at the moment. I don't want to have anything else going for me. I don't want to have any other hobbies and things I want to put into my calendar to do. I don't want to learn a new language. I don't want to learn about history. I don't want to learn about culture, about music, about anything. I want to achieve the goal. And after breaking up with this person, I did something that I thought was the correct thing, but it wasn't. This was chasing sort of social connection. And this came from the fact that when the breakup happened and we mutually decided it was over because we weren't fit for being in a relationship together, we were aligned basically. The other person had a really good support structure. They could depend on people. People came up to them and asked them how they were doing. All of these things. They had friends. And then I thought to myself, maybe I should have the same thing. I think that will push me, that will be good. But as a man who is growing, first of all, choosing to chase social connection over choosing to do the things that will give you the outcome is still polishing the weights. It's, yeah, if I am actually making money and doing all of these things and having success, knowing people is only going to improve that. And I've been shown that so many times. Whenever I've made money and then I've made friends, I've made even more money. Clients, referrals, connections, all of these things. But when I've just not had money and I've known people, I've just wasted my time. I've wasted their time and my time doing so. So the main thing here is being able to understand that, yeah, having a social structure, a social connection with other friends and all of this, finding people who are intelligent to do business, or even if they do business, they think alike, and the people who I can rely on, basically, and they can rely on me, as I believe myself to be a reliable friend. Like when someone needs something from me, I'm able to provide them and help them out in whatever way they need. The services, connection, talk, time, energy, anything like this. So when I make more money, it's going to be part of a goal to improve the odds of achieving said goal and to just have a better life overall, to have a good friend structure, a good support group, basically, of like-minded individuals who are achieving their goals, who I can depend on, who are reliable people, disciplined, all of these things. And I noticed that also focusing on that, I was also focusing on talking to the woman, talking to girls, just so I could see and receive validation and see, am I an attractive man? Am I liked? I'm charismatic? Am I all of these things? Because when a breakup happens, you sort of start to question these things, and especially if during such relationships you didn't receive much validation physically or emotionally, you start to then say, okay, now I'll just go chase it somewhere else. But this is not leading anywhere. It's not. There's no point in growing the ego any further. Why? Feel better about everything. Is that really changing my life significantly? I feel better by going to the gym and looking in the mirror, looking in the pump. I can talk to people, and I've proven so. I've just walked to a stranger and be charismatic, ask them about their life, about what they're doing, just be interested in them, care for them, and you will have a friend. It's that simple. I don't need to prove that to my own ego because it's weak. My ego is weak, thinking that it needs proof for that, and I don't. And doing so is, again, polishing the weights. I don't need to talk to other people for that. I don't need to talk to other women. I need to focus on the goal. And today I realized that I had this amazing conversation with a woman I just randomly popped up in my recommended on Instagram, on IG, Instagram, That's how you say it, by the way. I'm trying to improve the consistency of my English. It's very all over the place right now. It's supposed to be British, but it just comes and goes. So on IG, which I was supposed to have uninstalled today, but I ended up installing it again. It's weakness, I guess. On IG, I found this woman in recommended. Her name was Sophia, and she turned out to be an extremely intelligent woman. And we started talking because I followed her, but we didn't have any mutuals and anything like this. So she was extremely curious as to why I followed her. I honestly just followed her because she looked nice. She was from Russia, and I was like, okay, I'll just see what's happening. I clicked follow, and then we talked for about 4 hours. Really, really long conversation. Like 4 hours talking every minute. It's insane through the M's. And I was so obsessed with this conversation during it happening because it was such an intelligent person. It was such a breath of fresh air to talk to someone like this and to actually be intellectually stimulated when talking to someone. And it led me to waste the 4 hours because I'm not going to talk to this person again, most likely. There's initial curiosity, and I'm not going to talk to this person again probably after. Especially after realising, hey, I'm wasting so much time doing this. How much time have I wasted this week talking to people? Maybe 10, 20 hours. That's insane. 20 hours. How many content pieces can you do in 10 to 20 hours? How you can finish all your client work in 10 to 20 hours? You can do all the ads, everything. And she was the one who raised that, by the way. She was the one who said, hey, we're not going to talk again, we're wasting our time. And I was like, yeah, but maybe, because again, I'm chasing that connection, I'm chasing talking to someone, I'm chasing that social life. And I realized I'm chasing the wrong thing. I need to chase taking the actions that will lead to the outcomes. That is the only thing I should chase. The actions. I chase doing the action. The outcome comes after. Yeah, that's basically from the action. So she was right. Very right. Extremely intelligent woman. An IQ of 138. Brilliant. But regardless, now my actions just focus on doing what matters, which is completing client work on time, high quality work, and doing more actions that will get me more clients. Making content, making ads, writing copy that will release on the ads, being on sales calls, following up with leads, sending proposals, doing all of these things get me clients. That's it. And if I do client work, I don't overthink the solution. If I am going to solve the problem, I'm going to solve the problem. I'm not going to solve the problem 37 steps down the line. Maybe 2-3 steps down the line is fine. Yeah, that's a good practice. But 37, not required. Just fucking solve the problem and move on with your life. Because more often than not, the problem you have in your mind that you think the client is going to have, they might not even fucking care. You might just be fucking overthinking this. It's that simple. The client might not care about the efficiency gain of 10 less seconds to add a lead into the system. They might just not care. So, why should you care? And now, all of these things I'm talking about are current situation. As in, I have basically $10,000 in the bank account. I am not very high net worth right now. I will be getting sent some transfers from clients, pushing them back up to about 3,000 euros. But it's just been too much of a perfectionist and doing all of that client work. There's no point. And all of these things I'm saying are to scale. in the sense that this is my current level. When I reach 50k a month, the problems and the advice and the realizations I will have, that I will share with you here, they will look completely different. Maybe it will be same principles, as in focus on the actions that give you money, focus on these things that I get what isn't, and all of that. But it will change, maybe saying now the time is to find a niche, now the time is to improve the hiring process, improve the SOPs, improve certain things. Obviously you can always improve the SOPs, but right now we really have no niche, no offer, so what SOP can I have? More so just how you execute the work. But yeah, maybe then I'll think about that I need to improve specific metrics in the business, saying I need to improve my churn, make that be lower if I build MRR. And I'll say the most important thing in the business is improving MRR and improving churn. But maybe when you're just starting out, the most important thing is making fucking money. So I want to make sure that when I'm giving advice in the future, I'm always focusing on being able to be nuanced and say, in this scenario that you have right now, in this scenario that I have right now, where I'm making this amount of money, I have this structure, I think this is the advice, I think this is the realization and the breakdown of what I think is going on. So that's basically it. When you start from scratch, things look very different. Like for you right now, you might be learning the skill in the first place you're going to be offering. And if you're scaling to 100k a month, you're basically just watching this for the fucking sake of it, just getting to know me or something, because I can offer you no value. So yeah, that's basically it. It's been a long one, 37 minutes, the longest one I've done. And I'll be doing many more of these, because the biggest challenge I had before was kind of doing this in private. I didn't feel open, I didn't feel comfortable just talking to the camera, and there was someone else listening to me and potentially being offended by the things I was going to say. As in today, I didn't work productive because someone was bothering me. If the other person is sitting right next to you, they're gonna fucking kill you. They're gonna be like, what? So now it's a bit easier to just go ahead and talk, and I hope that becomes a good reason to keep going forwards, and I just don't find another excuse to not do it. So yeah, let's just keep fucking grinding, and next video I do, which will probably be tomorrow, I will expect to have taken significant action to improve the likelihood of me getting more sales. So tomorrow my idea is completing client work for all the clients I have, making sure that on the week going forward I have nothing on my calendar I need to do, just work for myself basically, and for the next week just being able to work on the business itself. And I want to solve that tomorrow in the first half of the day, and then after that I want to be able to focus completely on making content, on making ads, on launching ads, and doing these things that will actually get me clients through the door. That's basically it. I'll have to edit the ads as well, but yeah, that's basically it. Also make image ads, that would be a good one to make, because I've just been doing videos, but realistically image ads could also bring in clients. Anyway, now it's 11:20. I might go meditate. I'm not going to work now. I'm going to wind down and just go to sleep. And tomorrow I'm going to wake up early and get to the gym, get the work on, and just fucking rip through work. Let's actually flex a little bit, just so I can track the progress long term. with better lighting, everything looks nice. Chest is still kind of small, to be honest. We need to get a thicker frame, but yeah, that's basically all. I'm starting to get told by my family that I look like Superman for a small Beal. And also, I think my accent has gone to shit since now I speak less with people. Before I had a relationship with someone in English, so that helped. I am supposed to be native. Supposedly. I sometimes doubt that, but anyway, goodbye. Take care.